Thursday, June the 27th. Maybe I still sound a little congested. I don't know, but I woke up feeling a little bit better today. So I got this one in. I got some intensity in my workout today, and it was well worth it. I like this one a lot. So let's talk about it. I can talk about it from a place of authority today. So it's a threshold day, but maybe a little bit different than what we've seen over the last couple of weeks. Now, like, biggest difference is we've actually been including a advanced skill known as double unders in our Thursday threshold workouts over the last couple of weeks, and we didn't today because let's talk it out. Tuesday of this week was threshold-ish, right? And we saw an opportunity to include another double under movement in a workout that had a very strict time domain that was gonna put you into a pressure situation to try to do those double unders in that context, the same as we've been doing on these Thursdays. Now, Tuesday wasn't necessarily threshold because you probably weren't sprinting all out on those runs, my guess. But today is threshold, kind of. Today's another one of those duality days. Today is most certainly push-pull, right? It's also a push-pull. A lot of days are push-pull and we don't call it out. But because we called it out yesterday, let's call it out again today. Today is threshold, and honestly, kind of traditional in the way that we've been programming these threshold workouts. What we're missing today is built-in rest. Now, that is on purpose. That is also where the rower comes in. I'll talk about that in a second. But in keeping with the theme of something a little bit more advanced skill on these threshold Thursdays, yes, so we've been using double unders for that. We're going to do ring dips today. And I have a feeling that I would guess that we actually have more people who can do a really good ring dip than people who can do a really good double under. It might be about the same amount. And sometimes, and when I say that, part of the population I'm thinking of are people who probably don't even know that they can do some good ring dips and might even find out today. But let's talk about how you get a good workout in today. The threshold part of this workout, really the sprint, we talk about sprinting, is going to be coming on that row, right? We're asking for a 500-meter buy-in for men, 400-meter buy-in from ladies. And that is not asking a lot in a 4-minute window, because you know that, well, maybe you don't know, but in general, 500 meters, especially for anyone, but mostly calling it for men with the way that the numbers are written today, 2 minutes would be like a fine competitive time for that. So we'll say that 2 minutes is what we really want to be doing, the time we want to be doing to get off the rower today, if not faster. Probably at certain points we're going to have to slow down, and that's fine, but you get the gist of what I'm saying. The bottom line is you're going to get to the rings. There's no question that you're going to get to the rings, whereas in some other weeks, we might have to put in our notes, hey, modify the distance if you're not getting there, yada, yada. But that is not the case. You will get to the rings today. The question is just, what will you do when you get there, right? So sprint the row so that you have as much time as possible in the rings, and then I want everybody to just set your expectations right now, or start thinking about what your expectations ought to be on these ring dips. And what I mean is, right off the bat, I can say, like, if you're not sure about ring dips, or your priority today is, I really want to get a good sweat in, and I want to get the stimulus of the movements, but not necessarily, I know today's not the day that I stare at those rings in vain, then you can add a band. Just make sure that the band you use is not one that you're just pogoing or bouncing up and down on, that you're using it for support, but you're not using it as a crutch or as an aid in your ability to push up out of the downside. Like, bottom line, forget what I just said, just don't bounce it. If we can make sure we're not bouncing a whole lot, then we're doing it okay on the rings. Now, other people, one thing we can't have is just poor range of motion on ring dips, like intentionally not getting my biceps to the rings. That is not one of the options today. So if you find yourself, I can support myself on the rings, I just can't lower my biceps all the way down, well, then you are someone who just needs to build in that muscle memory, and unfortunately you need a band to do that. So grab a band. Now, if you are someone who has ring dips, I just want you to set your expectations right now. This isn't a huge volume day of ring dips. There are plenty of people, I think, who are going to get to the rings today and be like, I'm going to be able to get a couple, and that's fine. Absolutely. I want you to know right now, I never did a set bigger than 5. Is that because I'm under the weather? No, I don't think so. It's just it's the format of the workout. This is yet another push-pull day, right? I mean, a lot of workouts are push-pull. We just don't talk about it. but the pull on the row and then the push or the downward push on the rings. So you will have the energy when you get there, but don't discount what the row took from you. All right, specifically with your ability to stabilize. But I want you to just think of like small sets. Like that was what worked best for me today, especially when I got tired. It was like, I'm gonna hop up to 1, 2, get down, but not stay down for long, right? Shake out the arms. You won't have that much time on the rings, but you'll have enough. And then finally, the reason I said I'd come back to this. The reason the rower, we haven't been using the rower as much recently because outdoors or the weather has let us do most of our monostructural workout or work with run, or with running. And Thursdays have always been a really good opportunity for us to be creative with the bike, so that's why we don't use it many times on Thursday. But today, we had the built-in rest kind of on Tuesday. We didn't want a built-in rest today. We wanted you to use all the time you had, but make sure that your transitions are good. And the rower lets us do that. We feel like everybody will have their own rower, most likely. And so you can, get your rower as close to the rig and where your rings are as possible and make sure that your transitions are snappy. And that'd be ideal. Just don't be lazy about it, I guess is the best way to say it. All right, guys. I don't know what my score was. It was I just didn't add it all up yet. I got basically between 12 and 15 or something like that every round. And I was chip away.